What's going on, YouTube? It's your host, the Gym Slasher, back at it again. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Appreciate you guys for showing up and sticking around and watching and supporting it, man. You're helping the channel grow, and I appreciate it. Without y'all, there's no me. So just give me unconditional love, and I'll give it right back. With that being said, you read the thumbnail. Here's another one of my gym peeves: the weight hoarder. The person that comes in there to have no decorum about themselves and taking weights or doing all this kind of stuff. It's important when you are in the gym, a public, emphasis on public gym. You're in a public gym. There is a certain decorum and etiquette you should carry yourself when you're in the gym. And I have multi layers of this, and I will get into a few of these as we go along on some of these my gym peeves, right? With this one, that decorum is simply reading the room, right? You have certain times in the day where the gym kind of fluctuates, just like stores and other businesses, if you will, where some days or sometimes in the day they're peak hours and then they're down hours, right? Where there's not as much of a flow of patrons, if you will, in terms of business. In the gym, is the same rules apply. We know that post here in the United States of America, I'll say that I don't know in terms of how the times work once you start going extending out to the world. But typically here in the United States, most businesses and most work ends from 3:30 to approximate 5:30, 6 o'clock. You're right around that phase. And I would actually probably say about more closer to 4:30, because most people get into work about 7:30, work a regular or standard 8 or 9 to 5. So 8 to 4 or, 7:30 to 4:30, 9 to 5. Some of those, that's the bulk still of most American jobs. Some of the basic, hours or standard shift hours is that time frame, 8 to 4 to 9 to 5 to 7 to 3. If you are going in the gym really at that 5 o'clock spot, expect the gym to be packed, expect the gym to have a lot of people in it, expect the gym to have novice, intermediate, and advanced gym goers. It is important that when you come in, if you have a understanding in terms of what you wanted to do for that evening, you have to also factor in I may not have the opportunity at all the weights or all the weight stations that I may want to be in. For myself, I've seen it. I worked in the gyms, obviously. I've seen it from early in the morning to the late night. I've worked out at all times in those outside of overnights. The latest I think I've ever worked out in the gym that I could think of was probably about 1 a.m. or so. And I've done that a couple of times. It's different. But normally I have an idea of if I go to the gym at certain different times through the week or so, I know what I'm going to be getting myself into. So if I know I'm going to the gym at 4:30, 5 o'clock, 6, I'm expecting expecting for the gym to be packed, for the gym to have a lot of people in it, old, young, women, men, again, like I said, all through the steps of experience. I know that. So I go in with the mindset that there's going to be things that I may not have an access to, because it's just the number game is it. Most people are going to look for the squat rack. Most people are going to look for the bench. Most people are going to look for the cables. Then after that, you may get the machines. After that, then you may get to like the yoga mats and the yoga space for people to stretch or do their warm-ups and Pilates and other things that they like to do. Then it starts to kind of dwindle down in terms of how often people are getting to it. So you got to have a mindset and understanding of what time you're getting into. for that person who comes into the gym and had that mindset of it's the gym goer who get a bench, and then they'll get some dumbbells, a set of a set of two of dumbbells. Then they'll get maybe another set, so they'll go from 5, or 5 pounds higher. Generally, it's another 5 or 10 pounds higher with another dumbbells. Then they'll go somewhere else, grab a bar, bring that over. Pretty much a preloaded bar, meaning like the bar already has the weight, molded or welded into it, so you're not stacking. But you also have the ones who will grab the easy bar or grab one and then put plates on it, and they pile it up all on one bench, and they sit there and they're there for the next 30, 45 minutes. Now, I'm not too much on the fact that you're using one bench, but in addition to that bench, you're hoarding weights around you, right? At peak time, 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. is peak gym time. Do you know the amount of people that are coming in to go ahead and lift? And here you are grabbing weights on weights, grabbing a bar, grabbing more stuff, and you're sitting here occupying a bench where you know other people are going to be looking. And more often than not, the high rate dumbbells are usually between that 10 to 25 dumbbells are premium in relative. And then when you get to the men, it usually starts to get to about 35s to 45s to about 65 to about 70. You know what I'm saying? 35 to 70 becomes premium top dumbbells for advanced and for males and females, be that as it may. So you have to have these understandings that it's okay to bring a dumbbell, do your set, place that dumbbell set back so somebody else can get to it, especially when you are using weights that are heavily used. Now, most gyms have typically would have a set of 2 or sometimes 3, but usually if so, in other words, there's 4 20-pound dumbbells. So 2 sets of, you know what I'm saying? So you got 2 sets, right? Most, established gyms usually would have 2 sets of each thing until it starts getting into that 70, 75 dumbbells. It usually is just 1 set because in theory, statistically speaking, there's not as many men or women who's using the 70 to 75, 80 and on up. You could typically go with just having 1 set of that. So understand that when you're going in and you're already grabbing, looking around, knowing that somebody else is going to want that weight. So do the weight, do the work, do your set, maybe even 2 sets. I'll give you that. But it's when you start doing 5, 6 sets of the same weights and you're controlling this as if this is all yours. Emphasis on public gym. It is not just yours, it's everyone. Have a plan, have a system so that when you go in and you know you're going in at peak time, get in there, get your work in, get your sets in, set them back, right? Don't roll your eyes if a gym person like myself to see you on some weights that I need to get on, and I know you sitting there been lifting for 3 or 4 or 5 sets. I'm just going to ask you just for 1 because I just need 1. Get in there, get 1 set in, so then I can move to the next station. Sometimes it's a peeve when I know I got to get in here on a certain set, and I'm going from maybe 40, and I would like to go to 40, 45 to 50 or so, but you still sitting here on this 45 dumbbell for all this time, and you're not moving that, and you're taking something from another area. Now I got to go from 40 to 50 or 40, or just stay at 40, or even go down just to keep, just to modify. And I'm pretty good at moving around and adapting to my circumstance. So It's a peeve for that very reason. That's why it hints the phrase the peeve. It's just an annoyance that you have to do this because you're sitting there on some weights that everybody else can use. So be aware of your surroundings. It sounds trivial or parental, to say sharing is caring, or make sure you're aware of where you're at. If you're in an empty gym, the world is your oyster. Have a good time. Go ahead and grab this gym, do this, grab this weight, grab that, do this, run over here, right? Have a good time, have at it. But when you are going into those peak times, make your modifications and be aware and respectful for everyone else around that may want to use that. So with that being said, run your race, stay in your lane, be safe out there. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Keep showing me some love. Keep showing me that support. Appreciate you.